All right, you probably heard there is a lot of money to be made in sports right now. Whether it's the rising valuations of professional sports, hey, today CNBC breaking the news that the New England Patriots sold an 8% stake at a $9 billion valuation. Wow. But what about the whopping amount of money that is in college sports right now? College athletes are making bank. It is the new era of directly paying players. If you're not familiar with it, some college athletes, or maybe even high school athletes these days, are now being paid, in some cases, millions of dollars to play sports, with many of them changing schools every year to get a bigger payday. The numbers overall, folks, they can be murky because some of these so-called name, image, and likeness, or NIL deals for short, are multi-layered. But Sports Illustrated highlighted that as of this spring, Arch Manning was making an estimated $6.8 million per year to play quarterback at the University of Texas. The 10th highest paid athlete, according to SI, was making $3.1 million a year at Arizona State. Again, these numbers are from Sports Illustrated and just estimates. But let's talk about this new world. Back with us, Joe Moglia, of course, in addition to TD Ameritrade, his new role as founder and executive advisor at FG Nexus. You may not know this. Former head football coach at Coastal Carolina University, was actually a high school and college coach before you went to Wall Street, right?
Yes.
And then you came back. So we're not randomly asking you about this topic. Listen, my viewers know I'm a Hokie. I love my Hokies. It's a weird time in Blacksburg, Virginia right now. Where is all this going? How does this shake out for college sports?
Yeah, right now, Brian, I don't see an end in sight right now. And
it's too much money. I don't know how you put the genie back in the bottle.
That's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. So if you go back 4 years when NIL was announced, I don't have a problem with the players getting paid. The Big Ten this year, I'm a bit close. I'm not going to be exact. Just TV revenue alone, only TV revenue for football. Each team probably going to get close to $100 million just for football. Big Ten. Everybody's
how
Big
much?
Ten. 100 million.
Okay, in TV revenue.
TV revenue. But that's...
The schools are getting...
Great.
So I want to be clear. I want to be very clear with our audience. By the way, one of my kids is a recruited D1 athlete. So, you know...
There you go.
Man, we didn't get some
Coastal
of that
Carolina?
Right, no, yeah, no, I can't, you know, but it's... And I played, you know, pretty good collegiate rugby at Virginia Tech, but I'll say this. I'm not saying the players shouldn't be paid. I want these... Schools have gotten rich off them for years. What I don't want, though, is a situation where some schools paying $50 million, another school can't afford that, so they never, ever have a chance to compete, and it ruins college football.
Right now, that's almost impossible to fix. The issue that I had 4 years ago, and I still have today, is that this is the most significant thing to happen in the history of college athletics. And the NCAA, whose job is to protect the student athlete, totally abdicated the responsibility for this. It's ridiculous. A stat, you may find it, stat's about a year old. NAIA Division III and up, 570,000 student athletes. 2%. Now, most of the stats you hear about are the Division I athletes. Of the 570,000, 2% get $100 or more. 6% get $10,000 or more. That means 94%, 530,000 kids, do not get anything.
That's right.
Nothing, right?
Well, theoretically, they get the scholarship. That's what some people would argue. There's the money.
That's
right?
fair. That's fair. But that's not NIL money. That's the scholarship money, right? So by the way, in the last 4 years, I've not heard one word about academics from the NCAA.
No, you never hear this. By the way, you're watching, and I love college football, I love college sports. You're watching college football, and the broadcasters are like, well, he transferred from this school before he went to that school, before he went to this school. They never talk about, like academics.
Not anymore. No.
When is the person graduating?
That's over.
How are they in school for 7 years?
If the NFL is a great business model, they do a wonderful job. They make a lot of money. If the NFL ran themselves what college athletics is doing today in football, the NFL would go out of business.
Why do you say that?
Because we just talked examples about the types of contracts, for example, a coach would get or a player would get. I predicted a year ago that 3 seasons from now, including this season, we'll probably have half a dozen or 10 student athletes, football, making 8 figures. So that's a 20-year-old kid making $12 million. And to what extent that kid knows how to adapt to that $12 million is something else.
I have a friend friendish in the business. He has a 15-year-old client. He's got a $600,000 check. NIL deal. Dad had to sign for it because he's a minor.
I think the only way
600 grand at 15 years old.
I think you begin with powerful football. It's got to break away totally from the NCAA.
Create a pro league, effectively.
PCW, the Professional Collegiate Athletic.
Bingo. We never talked about this, but that's what I agree. Make it like British soccer. Top 20 teams, whatever, boom.
I thought the only thing you do about was energy. Energy.
Half and half, and car racing. But that's because some schools will never compete with the level of spending that an Oregon or an Ohio State or a Texas. You never compete.
If you did this, you break away, you use the NFL as a model, you have a whole different executive board, you have salary caps, you have collective bargaining, you have real transparency, you have real contracts that really, really do matter, and you run it like a real business. Now, then the rest of college athletics, and remember, you got to get something right first. You get football right first, then you work on men's basketball, and you work your way down the line. But you get something to work. Now you got the rest of it, the ACAA, the Amateur Collegiate Athletic Association, call that the NCAA. They're never not going to make money. But you want to make big bucks, you got to be recruited by the PCAA. And maybe the NCAA can come up with some sort of metric where girls tennis is allowed this much money, regardless of if you're not PCAA. Girls tennis is allowed this much money, football is allowed this much money. But at least you try to level the playing field. Then you have a Super Bowl. Then you have the PCAA National Championship. Then you have the NCAA National Championship.
I love that because you're going to have, I think, hard feelings on the field too. If you have one wide receiver making $1 million a year in NIL money and the other wide receiver getting paid $30,000, and that guy's numbers are pretty close to this guy's numbers, there's going to be a lot. It's like pro, but these are 18, 19-year-old, young men. This is not.
So the first thing that's going to happen there, that kid's going to wind up getting an agent, and he's going to say, see how much this guy's making $1 million? Your numbers are the same. You should be getting $1 million. By the way, if this school's not willing to give you $1 million, go to Virginia Tech. Yeah. They'll give you $1 million.
We will?
Money all over the place.
Oh, they're just dropping money from helicopters in Blacksburg these days, aren't they?
That's right.
Well, it feels like the Wild West.
It is.
But we're
chaos.
Well, you should be sheriff then. Wild Joe Moglia. We're going to bring you in. You know what I mean?
When this first happened, and that concept came up, I said, I'd really be interested in doing something like that, but you have to have real authority. There's no way the NCAA.
I'm going to say this. How about this idea? I know we got to go, so maybe whatever, but listen to this, Joe. Whoever wins the national championship this year, the entire team, because everybody's got like 7 years of eligibility now, should go to, say, for $100 million, we're going to all just transfer to another school. You're going to take the best team in the country, and we all move to some other school for the $100 million and then divvy that up. And I'm not joking.
That could happen.
Boom.
It could happen.
The entire Ohio State team transfers to Oregon. Now they went from red and silver to green and yellow.
Some version of that.
Some version of green and yellow. Joe Moglia, great discussion, important topic. Joe, thanks for sticking around too, by the way.
Great to be on, Brian.
All right, coming up, TikTok.